to think that the biggest mistake you make every day is talking too much? That's right. We live in a world that idolizes those who shout, react, and expose everything. But few understand the true power of silence. And you want to know the truth? Silence is not absence. It is mastery. It is control of emotions when everything around you is trying to destabilize you. While many drown in a sea of negative thoughts, insecurities, and endless comparisons, those who choose silence find the key to the most powerful transformation, the one that happens from the inside out. In this video, you'll discover why silence is the most underestimated tool to master your mind, overcome fear, neutralize anger, and deal with the pressure of the modern world. And no, this isn't cheap self-help talk nor outdated theory. It's a practical strategy used by leaders, athletes, monks, and ordinary people who decided to stop living defensively and started creating their own future. Do you want to keep being a hostage to your anxiety and distractions, or finally take control and avoid your own downfall? Stay with me until the end, because besides hearing an impactful story that will change how you see your thoughts, you'll also learn practical ways to use silence to prevent jealousy, rage, and failure from dominating you. Ready to start this journey of self-awareness and change your mindset once and for all? The wise monk looked at that little trembling mouse with genuine compassion. He knew, as few do, that fear is a powerful force that can consume anyone, regardless of their size. By transforming the mouse into a cat, then a dog, he wasn't just offering a new form but a real chance to free that creature from the insecurity that trapped it. It's curious how, even after gaining power, many still carry the weight of their old identity, like an invisible burden. The monk wanted to prove that by changing the external form, he might also guide that being toward an inner transformation. After all, how many of us believe that simply having strength or looks is enough to overcome our negative thoughts? Over time, the former mouse became more imposing, turning into a tiger, a symbol of strength and courage. But even with that strength, he didn't conquer what really mattered: control of emotions. The tiger, now a man, didn't understand that the greatest enemy wasn't out there among the predators but within himself, hidden among memories of failure, comparison, and self-imposed pressure. The man feared that if others found out his origins, he would be despised, diminished, ridiculed. And isn't that how many of us act? We hide our roots out of insecurity, sabotaging our own chance at success. Who has never feared being exposed and rejected? Fear turned into paranoia, and paranoia into action. The man began to plan to eliminate the monk, the only one who knew the truth about his origins. See how distraction caused by negative thoughts and the lack of self-awareness can drag us to rock bottom. That man didn't realize that the monk wasn't his enemy but the mirror of his own evolution. It reminds me of when we let anger and comparison with others guide our decisions. Like when a professional, afraid of being surpassed, sabotages colleagues, forgetting that the real challenge is to master your mind. And, of course, this story still has a surprising twist. At the exact moment when the man, consumed by insecurity and the pressure to maintain his new identity, decides to attack the monk perceives, with the serenity of someone who possesses true control of emotions, the imminent danger. It's impressive how those with real self-awareness can detect hidden intentions, even when disguised under layers of affection or respect. The monk, with a simple gesture, turns the man back into his original form, the small, frightened mouse. This teaches us that no matter how grand our external transformation is, if we don't change our mind, we will always be vulnerable to our own distractions and negative thoughts. The mouse flees, and the monk remains in peace, as one who knows there's no greater victory than maintaining serenity amid chaos. Many, hearing this story, might think, but he lost everything. Did he really? Or did he simply reap the natural consequences of not having mastered his mind? How many times in life do we accumulate achievements, money, status, relationships, and still get dominated by fear, jealousy, and anger? This happens when our external strength grows, but our internal strength remains fragile. As they say, we climb so high that we forget what it was like to be on the ground until we fall. This scene reveals a fundamental and non-negotiable principle. Either you dominate your thoughts, or they dominate you. The man-mouse downfall is a brutal reminder that no power, no appearance, and no success replace emotional balance and the right mindset. If you want practical examples of how to avoid this fate, start by practicing daily meditation. I recommend the book The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, which teaches simple techniques to cultivate self-awareness and mental clarity. After all, who doesn't want to prepare for the future and avoid the bitter surprise of realizing that, despite having everything, they lost themselves? And, mind you, there are still more valuable lessons to extract from this story. True power doesn't lie in physical strength or external achievements, but in the ability to master your own mind. Whoever learns to manage fear, anger, jealousy, and other corrosive emotions paves a solid path toward success and fulfillment. Not controlling these emotions is like handing over the steering wheel of your life to your worst impulses. Sooner or later, you inevitably lose control and head straight for a downfall. How many times, for example, have we made hasty decisions in the heat of the moment and later regretted them? That's the cost of lacking self-awareness and a balanced mindset, qualities that anyone can develop with discipline. We live in an era where distraction and pressure are constant. Social media, endless comparisons with others' lives, demands for quick results. All of this feeds insecurity and distances us from the essential, the construction of a serene mind, prepared for the future. It's like trying to cross a bridge swaying under a hurricane of stimuli. Only those who dominate their thoughts can reach the other side without falling. A good example is the practice of journaling. Writing daily about your thoughts, fears, and goals helps organize the mind and reduce the impact of negative emotions. Try starting with questions like, "What am I feeling now?" Or "Where does this thought come from?" Finally, the great lesson of this story is that self-mastery is an ongoing journey, not a final destination. Those who don't cultivate the habit of self-observation will sooner or later be surprised by their own anxiety, internal pressure, or the weight of comparisons. Remember, even the strongest tiger can succumb if it lacks control of emotions. The modern world demands that we be vigilant with our minds, like a gardener who daily tends to his garden, pulling out the weeds, the negative thoughts, before they take over. And, of course, there are still more powerful reflections on how silence can be the key to all of this. Now tell me, after all this, are you going to keep letting your negative thoughts dictate your choices? Will you continue living under the weight of fear, anger, and pressure? Or will you finally take control of your emotions and transform your life? Remember, not mastering your mind is the shortest path to failure and downfall. But those who choose self-awareness, who pause, breathe, and remain silent, open the doors to a future of greater clarity, balance, and success. Think carefully. How many opportunities have you already lost by acting on impulse? How many relationships have been damaged by a lack of compassion or an outburst of anger? And if, from today, you decided to cultivate silence, avoid distractions, and stop comparing yourself, what would change in your life? Leave your comment below. I'd love to know what impacted you most in this story and what action you'll take now to master your mind. And, of course, if this content made sense to you, provoked you, inspired you, or made you reflect, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, you'll keep learning how to transform destructive thoughts into strength, how to overcome insecurity, and how to build a mindset resilient against adversities. Your transformation starts now with a simple decision: to follow this path or not. What's it going to be?